She waited for him until midnight. Under the soft glow of amber lights, she kept rereading his last message. 6 days had passed, no reply, no goodbye. Only a lingering question echoing in her chest. Was it something I did? Have you ever asked yourself that? Why someone once so warm could suddenly turn cold? Where it all went wrong? The truth is, love isn't just about feelings. It's about psychology. It's shaped by unseen forces that no one teaches us to recognize. Until now. In today's video, Stoic Now will guide you through the psychological secrets of love and relationships. Truths they don't want you to know. From science-backed insights to life-changing realizations, we'll decode what really holds love together and what silently tears it apart. Stay with us until the end, because what you'll uncover might just change the way you love forever. And if this message already stirs something within you, don't forget to like and subscribe to Stoic Now, your companion on this journey of emotional clarity and inner wisdom. The soul stretch, why we love those who expand us. Love, in its truest form, is not just comfort, it's evolution. There's a quiet hunger inside each of us not only to be seen, but to be stretched, to grow beyond who we were yesterday. And often, love enters not as a balm, but as a spark. This idea, what psychologists Arthur and Elaine Aron coined as the self-expansion model, suggests that we are deeply attracted to people who help us grow, not just romantically, but existentially. The people who make the world feel bigger, richer, more vibrant simply by walking through it beside us. Think of that person who once made your heart beat a little faster, not only because of their touch, but because they introduced you to something entirely new. Maybe it was the way they danced like no one was watching, or how they spoke passionately about architecture, or theology, or rock climbing. With them, life wasn't just lived, it was explored. That's not just chemistry, that's self-expansion. Imagine you've lived your life in a familiar rhythm. Then one day, you meet someone who invites you to surf at dawn, paint at midnight, or sit in silence without discomfort. Suddenly, your inner map redraws itself. You are no longer just who you've always been. You are becoming. This is why the early stages of love feel so intoxicating. It's not just hormones, it's transformation. We fall in love with the self we glimpse through their eyes. A version of us that is braver, freer, more awake. But here's the subtle tragedy. When growth stalls, so does the connection. That's why long-term relationships falter, not from lack of love, but from lack of expansion. The soul stops stretching. The mind goes quiet. Familiarity becomes a cage. So what do? We keep growing, together. We stay curious about one another. We don't just ask, "How was your day?" We ask, "What surprised you today? What's something you'd love to learn next?" We invest not just in comfort, but in challenge. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Love too must meet resistance, not to break, but to evolve. So ask yourself, who helps you grow? And perhaps more importantly, who are you helping become? Because true love does not hold. It unfolds. The Michelangelo Phenomenon, sculpting each other's potential. Love as sculpture, the Michelangelo effect. Real love does not demand that we become someone else. It reminds us who we were always meant to be. In the quiet, persistent hands of a devoted partner, we are not rewritten, but revealed. This is the essence of the Michelangelo Phenomenon, named after the great artist who believed that every block of marble already contained a statue waiting to be freed. This psychological theory tells us something profound. The best relationships sculpt us into our ideal selves, not through pressure or perfectionism, but through belief. When someone sees your dreams before they become real, when they hold up a mirror not to your flaws, but to your potential, that's when love becomes a force of creation. Think about it. Maybe you once loved to write, but life, work, or fear got in the way. Then one day, someone reads a few lines you scribbled and says, "This is beautiful. You should finish it." That's not flattery. That's chiseling. That's love. In a Michelangelo relationship, your partner doesn't sculpt you with their expectations. They simply help remove what doesn't belong, self-doubt, shame, limitation, so that the version of you that already exists within can finally breathe. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." And in love, that association isn't just intellectual. It's deeply emotional. When someone believes in us consistently, we begin to believe in ourselves more. Their faith becomes our foundation. Of course, not every relationship reflects this. Some carve us into smaller shapes. Others paint us into corners we never chose. But when you find someone who sees your edges and says, "There's more to you," and stays to help uncover it, you are in the presence of something sacred. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes, it's the quiet encouragement to speak up at work, to forgive your parents, to try again. It is the slow but steady hand that lifts you higher without ever needing the credit. In that kind of love, you don't feel changed. You feel remembered. So take a breath and ask, who in your life has helped you uncover your truest self? And whose sculpture are you gently helping to form? Because love, when done well, does not erase. It reveals the invisible blueprint, attachment styles, and the ghosts of our childhood. Most of us believe we choose how we love. But the truth is, love often chooses us, through patterns set long before we understood what love really meant. Psychologists call this attachment theory. It tells us that the way we attach to others in adulthood is deeply rooted in how we were loved or left in our early years. It's not a sentence, but it is a script. And until we see it, we're just playing out scenes someone else wrote. There are 4 main attachment styles. You might find yourself in one. Secure, you're open. You trust. You can love deeply without losing yourself. You don't chase or avoid, you connect. Anxious, you crave closeness but fear abandonment. Every silence feels like rejection. Every delay, a threat. You might send 5 texts in a row, not to control, but to soothe. Avoidant, you keep love at arm's length. Intimacy feels like suffocation. You might ghost, withdraw, or overwork to escape closeness. Not because you don't care, but because caring feels dangerous. Fearful avoidant, you want love, but you fear it will hurt. You oscillate, drawn in, then pulling away. It's a dance between desire and dread. These styles aren't weaknesses. They are the echoes of survival strategies we learned young. Maybe you had a parent who was inconsistent, sometimes warm, sometimes distant. Maybe love felt conditional. Maybe touch was rare. Words were sharp. Presence was unstable. As Epictetus said, we are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of things. Attachment styles are the views we carry until we learn to see them clearly. And the beauty is, you can rewrite the script. Secure attachment can be learned. Through therapy, awareness, safe relationships, and inner work, you can shift. You can move from reaction to reflection, from panic to peace. Ask yourself, do I pull away when someone gets too close? Do I fear they'll leave, even when they show they care? Do I test people to prove they'll stay? These are not flaws. They are invitations to look deeper, to grow wiser. Love is not about perfection. It's about awareness. So if you find yourself in a cycle, loving too hard or running too fast, pause. You're not broken. You're patterned. And patterns can be softened, rewoven, healed. The question isn't, why do I love like this? The better question is, what part of me still seeks safety? Because when you begin to answer that with compassion, not judgment, you begin to love from a place of freedom, not fear. And that is the beginning of a whole new kind of intimacy. The biology of bonding, why affection is a survival code. Love isn't just an emotion, it's a code written into our biology. We often think of affection as optional, something tender for poets and romantics. But science says otherwise. According to the affection exchange theory, AET, expressing and receiving affection is not just about pleasure, it's about survival. Developed by Dr. Corey Floyd, AT explains that affection is a deeply ingrained human behavior that evolved to promote pair bonding, caregiving, and cooperative parenting. It's not soft, it's strategic. A whispered, "I'm proud of you." A hug after a long day, a playful nudge in the kitchen. These are evolutionary tools that signal safety, trust, and unity. When you hug your partner after an argument, your body releases oxytocin, known as the bonding hormone. Your heart rate slows. Your defenses drop. You're no longer at war, you're home. But there's more. Studies show that people who regularly give and receive affection tend to have lower cortisol levels, less stress, stronger immune systems, and even longer lifespans. This isn't just about emotions, it's about resilience. Now think of that moment when a friend simply places a hand on your shoulder as you grieve, or when your partner brushes your hair back during a silence. That isn't small. It's foundational. It tells your nervous system, you are safe. You are valued. Yet, many of us hesitate. We fear being too much, or we've learned that tenderness is weakness. Stoicism, though, doesn't mean coldness. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, kindness is invincible. Affection is strength in its most grounded form. The irony is, the smaller the act, the deeper the imprint. A warm text in the middle of a workday, a hand squeeze under the table, the ritual kiss goodnight. These aren't trivial, they're threads weaving emotional security. So ask yourself, do you express affection often? And more importantly, do you allow yourself to receive it? Many of us were raised in environments where affection was scarce or conditional. But adulthood gives us the power to change that, to rewire the message, to say, I will love gently and I will let love in. Love isn't always grand declarations. It's in the consistency of kindness, in the repeated, quiet ways we say, you matter, you're not alone. Affection is not extra, it is essential. Because in the end, it's not the years we spend together that define a relationship. It's how many times we looked into each other's eyes and said, I see you, without a single word. Muta, the sacred emotion of sudden closeness. There are moments in love that defy logic. They come quietly, without warning, yet strike the soul like lightning in still water. A whispered, I've missed you, after months of silence. A child's arms around your neck when you least expect it. A friend saying, you're family to me. In these moments, something ancient stirs inside us. Psychologists call it muta, a Sanskrit phrase meaning moved by love. It is that sudden rush of warmth, tears, and goosebumps we feel when a bond deepens in a heartbeat. It's not sadness, not joy, but a sacred blend of both, what researchers describe as communal sharing intensified. It often shows up in small moments. A soldier returning home to their child's embrace. Two strangers uniting in a crisis. A partner looking into your eyes and saying, no matter what, I'm here. These moments trigger physiological shifts, tears, chest warmth, shivers, not because something is wrong, but because something meaningful is unfolding. Your nervous system is responding to profound connection. You've likely felt muta without knowing its name. It's that breathless pause during a wedding vow, that sudden flood of emotion when someone forgives you. It's love catching you off guard in the most human, most holy way. The Stoics taught us to cherish what aligns with nature. And what could be more natural than this? This quiet breaking open of the heart. But muta isn't just a feeling. It's a guidepost. It signals moments when our lives are enriched by emotional closeness, when we are reminded of what truly matters. Not money, not ego, but belonging. So why does this matter in relationships? Because we chase excitement, status, and control, forgetting that what truly anchors us are these unexpected waves of shared humanity. Muta is not manufactured. It arises from authenticity, vulnerability, and presence. When was the last time you allowed someone to move you deeply? When did you last say something so honest, so open, it made another person's eyes soften? You don't have to orchestrate these moments. You only have to notice them, nurture them, let them in. And if you've built walls too high to feel this lately, know this, you can let them down slowly. Love still finds its way in. Because in the end, it's not the grand gestures we remember most. It's the soft, unexpected moments that remind us we're not alone. We are seen. We are home. Muta is the soul whispering. This matters. Let it. Gossip has its place, the social glue we misunderstand. We're taught that gossip is poison, shallow whispers behind closed doors, the slow drip that rots relationships. But what if that's only half the truth? What if, used consciously, gossip is not destruction, but connection? Psychologists and anthropologists have long observed something strange. Every culture gossips. Across time, geography, and language, humans share stories about others. And it turns out, there's an evolutionary reason. Gossip isn't just idle chatter. It's social glue. It's how early humans shared vital information. Who could be trusted, who betrayed the tribe, who needed help. In modern terms, it's the way we build and maintain social bonds. According to research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, gossip can reinforce norms, foster empathy, and even reduce anxiety by helping us make sense of the social world. But here's the key. Not all gossip is created equal. There is malicious gossip, rooted in envy, power, or harm. But there's also pro-social gossip, where we praise, empathize, or warn with good intent. When your friend says, "He always brings his partner tea when she's tired," that's not gossip meant to wound. It's meant to inspire. You remember that one sentence, and maybe it makes you think, "I want to do that too." This kind of sharing quietly uplifts the group. It spreads kindness by proxy. We also gossip as a way to connect emotionally. When someone whispers, "She stayed with him through chemo," or "He quit his job to take care of his sister," they're not just recounting facts. They're telling you what matters, what moves them, what kind of love they admire. It's easy to dismiss gossip as petty, but in truth, it reveals our values. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." That includes being slow to judge what others share and quick to ask, "Why did this story matter enough to tell?" Think of it this way. If love is a fire, gossip is the passing of sparks. Not all sparks light flames, but some do. Some build warmth. So next time you hear a story about someone's little act of care, a surprise bouquet, a silent sacrifice, a joke made at just the right time, pause. That story might not be small. It might be shaping how someone else chooses to show love. And when you find yourself speaking about others, ask, does this story plant fear, or does it plant grace? Because the stories we share don't just define others. They define us. Small rituals, strong bonds, the habits that hold love together. Grand gestures make for great stories. The surprise trip, the candlelit dinner, the diamond ring hidden in a dessert. But ask couples who have weathered decades together, and you'll find their answers are rarely about extravagance. They speak of something quieter, rituals. The small, consistent habits that weave trust into the fabric of love. Psychologists studying long-term relationships at Verywell Mind have found that the happiest couples share one thing in common. They practice rituals. Not rituals of grandeur, but of presence. Weekly check-ins, shared meals, playful routines, a kiss before leaving the house. These micro-moments anchor us against the drift of time. Think of the way two people always make tea together before bed, or the Sunday morning ritual of walking to the same cafe, sitting at the same table, and splitting a pastry. On paper, these things are trivial. In practice, they are sacred. They signal, "I choose you again and again," in the ordinary. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Extend that wisdom to love, and you might say, the strength of your relationship depends upon the quality of your rituals. These small acts build continuity. They remind us that love is not sustained by intensity, but by constancy. And in a world that glorifies novelty, it is constancy that gives love its rare depth. But rituals are not only about togetherness. They are also about space. The healthiest couples respect individuality. One ritual might be a weekly game night together. Another might be a silent hour apart, reading side by side. Rituals are not cages. They are currents, flowing between closeness and freedom. And here lies the beauty. Rituals adapt. A couple who once shared late-night drives may, in another season, share school drop-offs or tending a garden. What matters is not the activity, it's the intention, the devotion hidden in repetition. So pause and ask yourself, what are the rituals in your relationship? Do you have anchors that hold you steady when life storms? Do you have touchstones that remind you, even in silence, that you belong to one another? Because in the end, love is not proven in rare fireworks. It is proven in daily candles lit, even in the wind. Love survives not by being loud, but by being faithful in the quiet. Rom-com psychology, the stories that reveal our truths. We dismiss romantic comedies as fluff, predictable scripts where love always conquers all. Yet beneath the cliches lies something unexpectedly profound. These stories hold mirrors to the psychology of relationships. They exaggerate, yes, but they also reveal truths we often overlook in our own lives. Take Before Sunrise. Two strangers, walking through Vienna, share everything: fears, dreams, doubts. What makes that story magnetic is not the city lights, but the power of self-disclosure. Psychology shows us that vulnerability is the gateway to intimacy. We don't bond through perfection, we bond through honesty. That's why Jesse and Celine feel so real. We see ourselves in the courage to open up, or consider eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. A love fractured by memory erasure, only to return again. What does it teach us? That negative communication corrodes more than absence ever will. Harsh criticism, contempt, and defensiveness eat away at trust faster than silence. The film dramatizes the fragility of love when bitterness overshadows tenderness. Then there's La La Land. Two people fall in love, inspire each other, and yet drift apart. Their story embodies the Michelangelo effect, how love can sculpt us into better versions of ourselves, even if it doesn't last forever. Sometimes the purpose of love isn't permanence, but transformation. These stories echo what the Stoics knew, that love is not about possession, but growth. As Epictetus wrote, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." Even the endings we resist carry wisdom. Not every love stays, but every love teaches. So why do we return to rom-coms again and again? Because they remind us of something timeless. That beneath the laughter, awkwardness, and heartbreak, the same forces guide us all. The longing to be known, the fear of being hurt, the hope of being chosen. And maybe that's the real secret. They show us that love isn't perfect, but human. Messy, fragile, sometimes fleeting, but always meaningful. The next time you watch one of these films, look past the dialogue. Ask yourself, what truth is this story holding up to me? Where in my own life am I hiding, or resisting, or being reshaped by love? Because love isn't only lived, it's reflected, echoed, told back to us in stories. And in those stories, we often find the courage to write our own. We have walked together through hidden chambers of the heart, where psychology and philosophy quietly weave the threads of love. From the way another person can expand us into fuller versions of ourselves, to the gentle sculpting of our potential by a devoted partner, to the invisible blueprints written in childhood that still shape how we give and receive closeness. We have seen how affection is not weakness but survival, how sudden waves of emotion like muta sanctify our connections, how gossip, when softened by kindness, can bind us rather than break us, how small rituals become the anchors of enduring love, and how even the exaggerated tales of romantic comedies hold truths about our deepest fears and hopes. And so, what are we left with? Not a manual, but a mirror. Love does not reveal formulas. It reveals us. It asks us to notice the patterns that drive us, the moments that move us, and the stories we tell about what it means to belong. When we strip away the noise, we see that love is not a mystery to be solved, but a practice to be lived, day after day, in small, deliberate choices. Seneca once wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." Perhaps true love is the same. To enjoy the present moment of connection, not clinging to what tomorrow may bring, nor replaying the wounds of yesterday, but holding this hand, this gaze, this breath, with reverence. Think of the truths we've uncovered. That passion thrives when we keep growing together. That our best selves are sculpted in the patient presence of another. That awareness of our attachment frees us from blind repetition. That affection is not extra, but essential. Think of the countless unnamed times you have been moved by a small act of tenderness. A hand reaching out, a word spoken softly, a laugh shared when the world felt heavy. These are not fleeting details. They are the architecture of love. If this journey through psychology and Stoic wisdom has sparked something in you, I invite you to sit with it. Reflect on the ways you love, the ways you resist, and the ways you long to grow. Perhaps even share it with a friend, a partner, or in the comments below. Sometimes, the courage to speak our truths is the very beginning of transformation. And if you found value here, I warmly invite you to like, subscribe, and stay with us at Stoic Now. Not because clicks matter, but because community does. Each gesture of support allows us to keep exploring the soul of human experience together, through the lens of stillness, strength, and wisdom. Love, like life, is not conquered. It is cultivated. Every glance, every word, every silence becomes a seed. And with patience, those seeds grow, not always as we expect, but always as we need. So leave here not with answers, but with attentiveness. To notice the expansion, to honor the sculpting, to allow affection, to welcome the sudden swell of muta, to share stories that uplift, to protect the rituals that bind, and to remember that even in fiction, there is reflection, because love is not an event, it is a way of being. And if you carry even one of these truths into tomorrow, you will not just love differently, you will live differently. Until next time, may you meet life with the quiet strength of the Stoics and the open heart of one who knows. The greatest secret of love is not to find it, but to become it.